4. 3. 2. 1. Ha! What's going on, internet world? Yo, my God, we missed y'all. We missed y'all. Welcome to a little thing that we call the Cipher with Kid and Muff. I am your host, Marcus the Kid Warren, and with me is my man Muff. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine because I've had I've been ODing on dope hip hop the last few days.
ODing, you okay?
Yeah, no.
You're not okay?
I haven't really processed all the dopeness that I've been witnessing the last few days.
Really?
Yeah, you know.
Lay it on me now. Lay it on me.
We get into a couple of things I know today, but man, I just say I'm just to give you a preview. I listened to the new Coogee rap album. Guys, go get it. It's the original hardcore East Coast hip hop. That's what that is.
We're talking about Coogee rap, road to the riches type of just going in.
Listen, man. You know, here's the thing, man. Because at some point, I think, especially with the G-Funk era, well, I don't want to go into this in detail because that's another show, right? But at some point, I think East Coast hardcore had got mixed up with the West Coast hardcore and Southern, all this other stuff, to where that rugged hardcore East Coast, like when you heard the beat, you knew it was from New York. When you heard the dude spit, you knew he was from New York. You knew that New York was the mecca of hip hop and that hardcore. That's what Coogee rap always represented to me.
Right.
Anyways, he comes with it, with his old self, and I don't mind you being old because it seems like the older guys got a handle on what this thing is.
Really?
Yeah, but that's a whole other issue, man.
No, it's funny that you bring that up about East Coast, West Coast, and down south. We just got an email from a guy who checks out the show. I'd like to give him a shout out. Carl Duval sent us out. He said he gets into debates about East Coast and how the East is kind of falling off a little bit, and the Southern rappers and stuff like that.
You gotta have the old cats. Because of that. I mean, yeah, you're right about that. I mean, you know, because if we're in a situation here to where it ain't even about East Coast and West Coast no more, because I think people who don't have that reference point as to what good hip hop is, they don't even understand what the differences is. They just think the only thing they really know about that is that Biggie and Tupac had a beef, and it was represented by the different coasts. Where really, if you knew what was going on, it had very little to do with East Coast and West Coast. At one time, except for say Dr. Dre, and maybe like DJ Quick and people like that. There's a lot of cats on the West Coast, especially when it came to beats, that was a little wacky. It's a little wacky, and I'm not, you know, and you guys know who you are and who they are. You know, not everything was dope on that side, but again, that's another. Then
again, it's another show. I think, you know,
another show.
Long story short, people saw what was going on there. They saw what was hot, and they kind of ran with it and made it. They just watered it down.
But speaking of the West Coast, ironically, I'm talking about what's whack.
What's good,
man? Apparently, it is self-scientific with DJ Khalil and Chance Infinite. Wait. Did I say it's Chance Infinite? It's right.
Go ahead.
Chase Infinite.
Chase Infinite. Go ahead. Tell the history.
This dude, I'm gonna put him on blast. He said Chance Infinite. I'm gonna tell him Chance all day, and I know that. I've seen these dudes live. You've seen them live.
Right.
You know. At any rate, these dudes came up with a really just set it up.
Anyway, these guys got together in like the early '90s. I think it was 1994. These guys actually met in basketball camp, and in 1994 they actually got together and they formed the group called the Numbskulls. Now these guys actually signed with Loud Records, and I guess they had some sort of falling out with Loud Records. They weren't really getting the attention that they were supposed to, so they dropped out of there and they just started dropping dope mixtapes all over the West Coast. Now, I mean, some of you guys have heard them, some of you guys haven't, but these guys actually put out real dope material. Now these guys reconvened, got back together with they got together with SOL Records, and in 2001, I do believe it was, they dropped their first self-titled album, which was Self-Scientific, and that's the group that we know and love today.
Yeah, Self-Scientific, man. We've seen these guys actually. What year was that we've seen them with the Jizza?
Yes, the Jizza.
Jizza comes in constant. They opened for Jizza, as a matter of fact, about 5 years ago, roughly, give or take. You know, at any rate, just to go back, man. One of the reasons why I love Self-Scientific, because obviously Chase Infinite is a very, very good. Now these are West Coast guys. You know, we're talking about the West Coast right now. Very good. The beats. DJ Khalil has always been on my radar for the longest. DJ Khalil is one of those guys, if you're not really familiar or up on the production side of hip hop, where you might not realize he might have made the beat for some of your favorite artists that you listen to right now.
Really, yeah.
You know, like we talked about, he did about 4 or 5 joints, I think specifically 4, on Eminem's Recovery.
Yep.
One of the most banging tracks of this year was Rock and Roll by Raekwon. Who did that beat? DJ Khalil.
DJ Khalil.
You know what I mean? So he's been hitting it left and right. You know, he's done some things with Keith Murray, obviously Raekwon. Just going over my notes. You know, he's worked with DJ Muggs. He worked with Dr. Dre. In fact, the song Kush, although I wasn't a big fan of that song. Kush obviously is supposed to be on the new Detox album by Dr. Dre. He produced that, so he gets it in, and he's well known in production circles. And then what I specifically like about DJ Khalil, he's also worked with Nas too. Anyways, a bunch of people. But
actually, another note. They actually, when they were the Numbskulls, they actually recorded out of Ice-T's house.
Out of Ice-T's house. I don't. You know.
So they get around. They've gotten it in. But anyway,
one of the things that I love about DJ Khalil, and it shows up again on the new album, Trials of the Blackhearted EP, and it is an EP, not a full release here. One of the things I loved about DJ Khalil is his drums, man. His drums freaking knock. There's some songs, man, where when you hear those drums knock, you think you in Africa. Because they knocking. Boom, ba-bap, ba-boom, boom, bap. Now, again, this guy's in the West Coast. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm an East Coast production. You know, I love your Pete Rocks, but I just like good production, period. If you're a great producer, you get it in like that. I mean, hey, Jay Dilla, one of my favorite producers, you know, he's a Midwest guy.
Right.
So whatever. But at any rate, his beat skills show up again on this album. This EP specifically, Trials of the Blackhearted. I mean, from the beginning, verses. I mean, speak about that, because I know the lyricism got you a little bit.
Oh my God! You know what? Chase, my man Chase just got
Infinite.
Chase Infinite just got it in. I mean, he just went in now. Like I was telling you cbefore, I mean, it's like, you know, Scientific has always been, you know, that group that I've known to put out dope material, but they've never been like, you know, my group. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, they've been there. I've known they're nice. You know, I've always checked them out, but. Chase has always been that guy who's put out great lyrics, great material, but on this album, or on this EP, I should say, he has showed his ass. I'm sorry, but he did. He's seen. I know. Don't tell my mama. But anyway, yo, I mean, it just seems like the more mature that he gets, the better that he gets. Just like a lot of MCs. I know I'm not splitting any atoms here by saying that, but he has really improved as an MC. I know it's hard to say by a lot of people who know Scientific, but on this album or on this EP, he has really improved tenfold, I think.
Well, here's the thing. This is what happens. It happens in all forms of music. People, as they get older, they get better at what they do. Hip-hop is no different. That's why, if you were the best at what you did in hip-hop, there's a very good chance you're still putting out quality work today. You know, we talked about KRS Run. He still messes with. He puts out some good product. You know, some things be questionable, but generally speaking, for a guy that made like his first tracks like in the mid-'80s, he's doing his thing still. Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, Dr. Dre, older guy. He's good when he finally puts out Detox. It certainly is gonna go platinum. It is what it is. Like it or not, it's gonna happen. Right. You know, I mean, you're still relevant if you're very good in hip hop in the early '90s, late '80s, even depending on who you were. So it happens. Lyricism is no different. Right. Black Thought is not a young guy MC for the Roots. The Roots aren't young, but they still put out quality work. So I'm not surprised that a lot of people, as they get older, especially MCs, because MCs, it's all about the verse, not about making your beats relevant today, whatever. It's about what is it that you're saying, you know, and what are people looking for in your lyricism, whether you're just being conscious, whether you're just saying some witty rhymes, so on and so forth. You can get it in, you can get it in. I'll tell you right now. Big Daddy Kane is old as dirt, right? Big Daddy Kane to get up there and speak all these MCs up under the table. But this is what the problem is. I was talking to my cousin about. I'm always talking to my cousin about something. You ever see that every other show?
Yes,
I'm always talking to my cousin about something.
Always talking to
At any rate. Anyway, he was talking about the fact that his nephew, which is my guy. What does that make him? My cousin? I don't know. He's like 11 years old.
Oh, there you go.
And he's playing. I think Edo G's new album. Okay. Edo G is a good lyricist. '90s era, mid '90s, early '90s even. Type of MC, he's a vet. He's good at what he does, and him being young, and he's into music. This little guy, he goes to my cousin. He goes, "Well, this dude can't rap." Then he played. Then there was something else that came on, and he said that, "Oh yeah, now this is rap right here, right?" Yeah, we laughed about it a little bit, but this is what the issue is. It's like this, and this is my metaphor with that to what younger people in hip hop, young 20s, late teens, what they look for in hip hop. If I go to a museum and I see a painting by, say, Andy Warhol, or any other type of artist that uses abstract art or something like that, does Andy Warhol use abstract? I forget. It's been a while since I've
Not really, but go ahead.
He's pop art, right?
Yeah, he's more of
he's pop art.
Okay,
he's specifically pop art. At any rate, but he's not really an abstract art. But let's just say he was. I'm just putting his name out. That's the important thing now. And Andy Warhol's putting out this painting. He's abstract. There's symmetry in here. In this thing, and he's following all the rules of art. But to the naked eye, because I don't know what the rules are, I don't know what symmetry is, I don't know what what lines are, all this other stuff that they use in art. I'm just looking at it as it looks like a sloppy painting to me. But the same guy, I look at a painting, or not even a painting, a cartoon of Batman, and the guy's in the lines, and everything's drawn correctly. I'm looking at it, I'm saying, you know what, that's a good drawing right there, because I don't really understand the rules of art. That's how it is in hip-hop to me. A lot of younger people don't really understand really what makes a good or great MC, as opposed to somebody who makes, or as opposed to somebody who just out there rapping. You think they just sound good to your ear, but you don't know what it is to look for. So that's why when I'm playing, say, Ed O.G. for my little cousin, he's like, this dude can't rap, which is crazy. If he couldn't rap, he wouldn't be rapping anymore. I'm not trying to say Ed O.G. is the best MC ever. That's not what my point is. My point is that if you don't really understand, and there's an understanding that goes with liking hip hop to me. You can't just be listening to it to the naked ear and say this dude can rap. In other words, like if I play Will Downing, who's a singer for my mother, she's gonna say, "Oh my God, this guy can really sing," because she understands what makes a good singer. If I play an elite MC for my mother, if he doesn't curse, Mom, she's not, because she don't really understand hip hop like that. This dude is just talking, saying rhymes. You know what I'm saying?
They know but some hoopty hoop.
Yeah. What she gonna say? Get that? I'm gonna curse y'all. You get that bullshit off my, off my cereal muffin. That's what she gonna say. But at any rate, I digress too much. At the end of the day, my point is that it stands to reason, because of any other form of music, MCs are gonna get better too. It's like any other form of music. You know what I'm saying? So. This dude right here, though, DJ Khalil and Chase Infinite,
yes,
these dudes put together a banging EP. Self-Scientific Trials of the Black-Hearted. My favorite track on there, and then I'll get into what it is you like on there, God's Language.
Okay.
God's Language is sick to me.
Okay.
Especially the production on it, man. That's what I... If you look at God's Language, listen to God's Language on the new album by Self-Scientific, I was blown away. Especially if you love production, it's like, man, every time I go to the gym, I got 2 albums I listen to the gym now. I haven't been able to take out, I'll call it a tape deck, but obviously it's an MP3 player I'm listening to. Trials of the Black-Hearted, and the next one we're going to get into in a little bit, and that's going to be Elzai's new release. But at any rate, yeah, right? I can't take this out of my tape deck, so to speak. Even when I'm in my car, the same way, man. I don't know. Okay. Where are you with this, man? I mean, okay.
First of all, I'm the kind of guy who's like, okay, well, I'm going to listen to their first track.
Right.
The first track is always so very important to me. If I learn anything from music, it's like, the first track always sets it off. So like the first thing, boom, comes out with verses. Chase Infinite blows it out the park, knocks it out the park with verses. Yeah. Now, and one thing about Chase Infinite that a lot of people, I don't think people actually see, that he's a very conscious rapper. I mean, he talks. He's a very smart and witty rapper, and I mean, he really shows it off in verses. Now, the first 2 tracks don't even have choruses, but I think they're probably some of the dopest. So what is like some of the dopest tracks on the EP. Now, verses, and then he comes in with Everywhere I Go. And now he brings in my boy Game. Now I know, and for some reason I don't know why people are always hating on Game.
Game is a polarizing MC.
Yeah,
either you love him or you're like, man, this dude don't be saying it. He ain't dude, he can rap too.
Yeah, I mean the game. I don't know how you feel about it. Hit us up. Let us know how you feel about it. By the way, you can hit us up on Facebook. We are the Cipher Crew. You can also hit us up on our email account, which is kidandmuff44@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on Twitter. We are kidandmuff44. But anyway, back to the game. Game is hot, and the Game has always been consistently a great lyricist. Now he brings the Game on this one. Now he also brings out on Everywhere I Go my man Talib Kweli. Now that is a very obscure type of combination, the Game and Talib, and I love it though. That is a hot track, and then the whole EP is outstanding. Well, blew me away.
Yeah. I guess the whole thing with the Game is because the Game, not Talib Kweli, messes around with Strong Arm Steady. They're on his label. Okay. And Strong Arm Steady are primarily West Coast MCs because they've dealt with a lot of bad lip type stuff, which is West Coast. So that's kind of the connection right there. And the Game obviously is a West Coast MC. DJ Khalil's on the West Coast. DJ Khalil, again, to go back to him, I know it's one of the MCs supposed to be going to be working heavily with Dr. Dre on the new Detox. So,
really?
Yeah. So it's he definitely knows what's going on. This is my cousin right now calling. At any rate, definitely love this CD. EP, thumbs up. If I had to give it, I would give this really a 4.5 out of 5. Because I think that there's like really no weakness on here. There's everything you look for in a hip hop CD, just music in general. You get it in this right here, man. I'm all about it, man. So definitely 4.5 out of 5 for me. Chase Infinite, DJ Khalil, Self Scientific, Trials of the Black Carter EP. Big ups to them. Get this release. Trust me, it's off the hook. Yeah, man, there are no weak points on this thing. I'm sitting here looking for. I mean, even on your tightest albums, you're going to have 1 or 2 songs on it that might not meet the standards of the hottest tracks. Nah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not like the songs will be whack, but songs won't be to that standard. This song, like Muff, and I'm not going to take credit for this one. Muff said this EP is like a steak with no fat on it. No, ain't no fat on this thing whatsoever, and I love it. And this might be a little bit biased. Now, let me know how you feel about this one, Muff. Yeah. I love it when you have West Coast artists that come out and they don't have that West Coast sound. I mean, you have people like Lady of Rage, the Alcoholics. Now you have Self Scientific. The people who come out from the West, they don't have that. And you don't know where they're from. You can't tell they're from the West Coast. Yeah. When I love that part of Self-Scientific. Not like WC or Mac 10.
I'm sorry, but it is what it is. That's just how I feel. I'm not hating on the West Coast or the West Coast sound at all. But it's like when you have a group from the West Coast and you can't tell they're from the West Coast, you're like, whoa, these guys are from Brooklyn. And then you find out they're from California or Los Angeles or Compton or something like that. It's like, wow.
I wonder if they would give the West Coast props on this. I kind of dissed the West Coast a little bit when I talked about, some of the MCs being wacky. But those are probably the mainstream MCs generally speaking. But the underground MCs, man, West Coast, they get it in. Right. It's a lot of cats out there that do it.
But I digress a little bit. Let me give you my rating on this one. I will give this one also. I will give this one a 4.5. I'll agree with Muff.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it is an EP, so it's not
you in and you out.
It's not a full album.
And they take away from your life.
But check this one out.
Please do.
Check this one out. Don't forget to check us out. One more time, we are Cipher Crew on Facebook. Please be our friend. We are lonely. Check us out on Twitter. We are Kid and Muff 44.
Be lonely.
Good. All the time. I am very lonely and depressed. I'm on medication for it. Please hit us up with our email account. Y'all been sending us a lot of great email. Please keep it up. Whether you love us or hate us, please, we love it all. Hit us up on kidandmuff44@gmail.com. We've been getting a lot of love. I mean, this little thing that we've been doing has been blowing up into something that we could never imagine, and we're really loving it, and we love y'all for it. So thank you very much for checking us out. We are the Cipher Crew. Check out Self Scientific, and we are out of here because the Cipher said so, son.
Peace.
Peace.
Yo, what happened to P?